Hello YouTube. I finished welding my sway bar on there. Everything works pretty good. Fits fairly snug in there once the pins are in and everything. As you can see, I got the pin in. Should point out one of my mistakes was when I drilled the hole, I didn't know where this bar was going to end up being welded to. I kind of knew it was going to be further up, but I never thought of interference with my little pin locker nut here. It's not going to matter much because I can still kind of start screwing it, and then it's not like I'm taking this on and off a whole lot. Now, the one thing I end up doing, and I had talked about that in a previous video, just to show you quickly. As you install the pin, as you can see, the hole has to line up. Now you don't see the pin. I can't grab it. I can actually push it out here fairly easy. Hang on a second. Needs to turn a little bit, but as you can see, it was working a minute ago. So there. Sorry about that. But like it went in fairly easy in there, and see, I pushed it in. Like it somehow it's harder to pop out. I just need that little nudge. But anyway, I can push it in much easier. But again, I have the problem that because the pins are flush with the outside, the only thing I can do now is I made this bar, and I slit the groove. As you can see, I slit a groove there. So now I can just put the bar in there and turn my pin until I get my hole to align. And once the hole align, then I can just take my little pin and it pretty much drop right in there. And that really makes things easy. Like I can just take this and, you know, with a bit of torque, turn any of them to put the pin in. Makes the job so much easier. Now there's a bit of slack on this, but there was a bit of slack when it was on the bucket, because when you measure this and you measure the actual thing, there's a bit of play there. There's a lot of play at the top, but I guess it doesn't really, the top is the same. This side here seems to have more play for some reason. So I think the play is there to allow for any little deviation that the bucket may have or the FEL arm may have. So I think it's kind of a thing that Kubota does to eliminate problem down the road, to make it sort of more universal in a sense. So now my unit is fully installed. I picked up the bucket a couple times to put the pin in. They went in pretty easy. I still had problem with the bottom one here, the one that went through here. But I think it's because of all the grime and stuff that was in there. It accumulated, I guess. So when the pin was going in, it was going in pretty good until it hit this one, and then it was tight. So what I did is I do have a 1-inch bit on my drill here, big 1-inch bit, and I just kind of push it through here and whoops. But as you can see, it's still catching a little bit. You have to be careful. So that's what I did. I kind of put it through in and out a little bit to get all that grime out of there. And after that, the pin went in super easy. It's not, again, like I'm gonna take the bucket off, on and off and off. This is to facilitate when I do want, I do have a set of fork down here. This will be the next brackets and whatever setup I'm doing. I had some old steel. I'm trying to figure a way to use it to get the forks to work with the new, the other set of bracket that I built, these ones, which the holes and everything lines up with my new system. So once I got this going, and then I'll have the bucket, and then I'll have a set of fork. I could switch between the two within 2 minutes, which will be great. And then later on I might think of other mods that I will do. The one thing I was thinking right away when I did this, I think I'm gonna put another bar across here somewhere, maybe not as heavy as this one, but the reason why is when you take the bucket off, let's say I take this bucket off and I put it somewhere, I'm in the field and I want to go grab the forks. Well, you know, I'll have to bring the pin with me. So I'll have to take that pin off, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, either I put that in my pocket somewhere or in a toolbox or whatever. So I might make myself a little pin holder that I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put another bar across here that I can, and then I'm gonna put some little pipes that I can just drop these in and sort of secure them in there somehow, so I can have my pin ready to go right here, and they don't interfere with anything. It doesn't matter if the bucket tilts or whatnot. I think the pin being there, I think that's something that would look good and would benefit. That way I have a place to put the pin, and I'm not looking for them every time I go to take an implement out or take the bucket off and switching anything. My pin stays with the actual unit, so I'm not looking for them, or if I forget them and I got to go back. And so I think that's one good way of solving this. I will add that later on too. Other than that, I think it turned out pretty good. Still got a bit of buffering to do to this. I'm going to clean it nice. When this section here goes in here, there's a tiny bit of play, but I'm assuming that once I paint it, I'm going to be very tight, or tighter anyway. So I'm going to maybe buff this out, even if it's just 1 mil, you know, like that paint coat is going to be on there. So yeah, I'm going to have a couple paint. I'll have a primer coat and another orange coat on top of that, and maybe a third one just to make sure, because especially this section is the one that's going to go in and out of there all the time. So that's the one part that will be roughed up the most. Everything else really is not getting touched. It's most of the time it's protected. So that'll be it. I will show. I think I'm going to go ahead and actually make this little idea about the pin right away. That way it's on there, and I don't have to, once I go to paint it and all that, it's all done in one shot. So that'll be the next thing. I will update you if I get any more. I'll update the next video. Actually, I will update when this is done, and maybe a little further into the fork mod, and then I can show you that one. All right, see you YouTube.